I wanted to get the playthrough finished yesterday, but the terraforming, more importantly, the vegetation part of the terraforming was taking longer than I'd originally expected because the seed vegetation missions, the planetary anomaly missions, aren't coming up particularly frequently. You get two at a time, which gets you up 10%, and building out little outposts to put forestation stations here and there didn't seem like a particularly appealing thing. We discovered a couple of new little caveats to the way the priority system works on some of the buildings, which was interesting yesterday. It's definitely gonna help going on with the eventually with the 1075% playthrough. I was hoping to have this finished yesterday, and then today I'd be playing Utopia Colony. I mean, how long it takes to depending on how long it takes to complete this, actually, finally today, I might still jump on and continue with Utopia Colony. But until then, we've got 39% vegetation left, and that really should be it. I was planning on making a geoscape dome somewhere in this area. I may still do that, but I just want to give the colony a quick look over just to because I was absolutely wrecked this morning when I didn't even really go to bed. I just had a couple of like little power naps between then between then and now. But I was absolutely wrecked, so I don't remember exactly where I left certain things. I want to check it over to make sure we're in order. And we have a viewer. Good evening. Don't be shy. What did I want to check? The berths are off here, okay. We left them off over here, didn't we? Yeah, okay. And I still have a wonder to build, I think. Oh, two even. Project Morpheus and the Space Elevator. Project Morpheus is interesting, and at least it won't. Uh, we won't be able to. Oh, what's this? Lab cleaning. Worried scientists have found spying devices in not one but three of our labs. With so many devices found, it's safe to assume that our rivals have stepped up their technological espionage game. Common sense dictates we close our labs to sniff out all spy devices. Hmm. 2 souls without research. Yeah, I'd be a little bit more peeved if I hadn't already completed all of the research. I was just clicking on the repeatable ones for money. Let's close them down. I mean, we're still getting. Oh, because of all the genius colonists we have. Okay, sweet. So those school spires were doubly great. They take up so many more kids. It's like more than double the amount of kids can go in a school spire than a normal school, and they have a higher chance of making geniuses. What's wrong with you? Oh, diddums, you're going to school at night. Get used to it. What's wrong with you? Due to. Oh, this classifies as a lab, does it? Oh, yeah, because it adds research. Well, if I'd known that, I would have been a little more careful. I'm lucky that I have such a good offset. If I, because I was thinking yesterday of pushing it a bit and getting the differential closer, because one of these outputs zero point 0.4 without the amplification and zero point 0.6 with the amplification. And I was thinking of getting rid of another one of these because I had that running. If I had done that, then right now I'd be in deficit and I'd actually be losing atmosphere. And I don't know how much atmosphere we'd lose within 2 sols, but having the domes open and having removed all oxygen production and oxygen storage because it wasn't needed, that would be a bad situation. It's a good thing I left myself. It's a good thing I left myself such a large margin of what is it? Such, yeah, a large margin of error on that. Okay, lovely. Who are you? Where are you coming from? Planetary anomaly, probably. Let's land you over here. We managed to go around the colony and revamp things. Completely got rid of all the 3 domes that were here, the 2 barrel domes and the mega dome that was down here. Integrated all of them into the capital, and actually started work. Got rid of all of the stray moisture evaporators and all the other bollocks that was around here. Consolidated it nicely into this little patch. Still need to. Do I? That looks like it's being cleaned, so it's just fine. Put in some scrubbers, so none of this actually uses up any metal whatsoever. But maintenance. Oh, I'm just in the tedious process of moving tens of thousands of resources so I can get the storages a little bit more organized. It's a shame I can't get another one right in there because of the way I've set things up. You know, I'd need to place it there basically, and these 2 are in the way. I didn't want to shut these 2 down and move them first because the power comes in through that, and then it's just daisy chained down the line. And the problem is, they're not just moving these, they're also collecting more seeds from the area, which is damn annoying. Concrete seems to be going okay though, and the metals. Oh look, have they actually? Oh, they actually managed to empty that one. Nice. And then what else can we get started on really? We can. What else is going to be? Got concrete metals. We'll put food next, like so. Yeah. And then what have we got there? Rare metals, polymers. Yeah, the remainder, these 4, electronic, the machine parts, electronic storage, rare metals, and polymers, I'm just going to have in a row at the end. Well, maybe I'll double it up actually, yeah, for at least the machine parts and the electronics, because production production is good enough that if I were to continue, it would warrant it. Polymers and the rare metals are staying fairly low because I turned auto export back on for a little while. Get some cashish coming in, but we should be. Yeah, we're stable. I started to take off. What is it? Heavy workload off of all the buildings because this thing, however good it is, it's still got that limitation of the 32 per sol, and on a particularly big colony, that can actually be too little. Well, as you see, because if I had heavy workload on all of my electronics factories, that would be negative, and I'd slowly but surely be eating up my gold or rare metals. I just call it gold. It's gold coloured icon for it. Yeah, that's not included in the labs, is it? I would have thought it'd only be these things. Ah, disabled due to exceptional circumstances, and that's broken down. Okay. Yeah, that's going to give us another 5%, so we'll be at 66. I don't think we haven't been given another one yet. I wouldn't mind doing another seed clouds. The reason I didn't really get into putting more forestation, yeah, I can't zoom out like that, and I can't. Isn't that annoying? Well, never mind. We'll just scroll around because the vegetation level, the soil level, is relatively high in all the places where I've had the forestation stations working. I mean, even outside of that, because of the seed vegetation, large areas of the land, even though it's not got grass or anything on it yet, the soil quality, see, look, average in range 96. I'd have to put it in places like this, yeah, and this, where it's still low, for it to have any decent impact, because this has reached 100% on both, and it's not actually changing anything. You have to put it in a fresh area where that's not it, that thing. You have to put it in a fresh area where it's still got some effect for it to actually add to the vegetation increase. And that, as you saw, I'd have to go out to like outlying areas, and that would mean putting extra load on the shuttles. Having to make little standalone a drone hub with like a handful of drones in it, forestation station, say like a Stirling generator or a solar panel with a um, power storage next to it, and a universal depot at least holding on to the materials it would need to keep those things repaired. And then you'd have to do that like little satellite outposts all over the place. And now that I've really gone over it out loud, I know it sounds like a bit of a hassle, but that that does seem like, oh look, no, look, terraforming effect plus 0% per soul. Improves global vegetation if it's less than 40%. There you go. That's my answer right there. That's why they're not working. I didn't realize that it had that kind of a threshold as well. I thought it was simply down to the fact that the soil quality was so high in those areas as well. Yeah, and there's basically, do these actually add anything to it? No, not that I can tell. This is just temperature and water. Oh no, sorry. I need to read it. I just saw the icons there, and I'm like, that consumes. Yeah, yeah, we know that. Will wither or grow according to local soil quality and global temperature and water. Yeah, okay. I jumped to a conclusion there once I saw the icons. Confirmation bias. Need to read what's actually there instead. Yeah, so my only route is waiting for the waiting for the whatchamacallits, seed vegetation missions. So seeing as they come like what it seems like every I honestly can't remember. I don't want to tell a lie. I could say 15 minutes, but it seems like less often than that. Maybe like every 20, 30 minutes, and you get two at a time. It's just they refresh. They refresh at a standard interval, and I don't know what that interval is. I haven't looked it up, and I haven't really timed it. I know I keep getting one at a time because obviously the rockets take different amounts of time to get there depending on where it is, and then you've got to take into account the rocket loading and all that kind of stuff. So there's always time differential. So I'm not getting both of them at the same time anymore. So I need to figure out something outside of, because I've done a nice job of tidying shit up, and other than throwing more drones at this, there's not really a lot I can do to speed this process up. Yeah, I could put some of the other depots there already. Yeah, that's all just adding more strain on the drones, taking away from them being able to concentrate on the ones they're already doing. Yeah, so like axe that, and then when that's built, turn that one up. But at least they're almost done with that fuel as well. It's nice. I could jump into building the Geoscape dome, pass the time. Let's see how many drones we can throw at this. Well, we'll fill that up then. And where's the other one? We'll fill that up. Says there's not really a lot more drones I can even throw at it. I'd have to put down further drone hubs to increase that. 240 of them just going nuts doing their thing. Got exports turned off. Good. I feel like it's a cop out if I was to just say, "Oh yeah, well, I've done everything now. It's just an eventuality of reaching 100%." Yeah, that's rationalizing. I'm gonna see it through and get it done before I move on to the challenge map. Yeah, we will get rid of that first. At least we'll be able to put another one there because this fuel's going to be gone shortly, and we can extend that down. And if we put, yeah, if we go with what I originally planned on doing and just putting one of each of the electronics and machine parts, and I can get rid of the electronics and put another metal storage down, and when that's gone, I can put another. Can I? Can I get another concrete storage in there? I can. Only that's a blocking object. So if that's gone, I can put another one of those there. Okay, sweet. Oh, and we have sweet elixir of the gods. Our espresso coffee. Mm. Forgot to put sugar in it. Never mind. Yeah, crank that up. Crank that down. Crank that up. Crank that down. We can even remove it, and it kind of lights a fire. Well, click to remove it, but it won't actually remove while there's still stuff on it. kind of lights a bit of a fire under their asses. But they're already working on what, one, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 storage relocations. This obviously isn't going to work. Yeah, that's going to fill up way before that is gone. So that's a bit of a fail on my part, the way I place these. It'd be interesting if you could trash it, but then that's still a little immersion game breaking because what you do? Set fire to it? Still physically have to remove it. That's the whole point. If they've gone to the trouble of putting in a separate piece of research you have to do just to remove the remains of a building, then insta removing a storage full of seeds would be immersion breaking. No matter how much I'd not like that to be a thing. Yeah, and even these aren't getting emptied as quickly as I'd really like because they're bringing from these depots that they're filling up. I need to set all of those depots to max so that they don't bring from there. That's set to max. But once that fills up, they just leave it alone and they don't harvest more. And the same with this. They'll be pulling from there and taking it to the storage. And then the drones will continue to harvest fresh stuff. We don't want that. We just want to move the existing stuff. Man, these guys are seriously cranking out TV shows now. I'm getting notifications way more often with these two. Oh, why aren't you? Oh, and this was the thing yesterday on the priority of different buildings. So I was complaining about when the people in the Martian University, even though it didn't actually need, at the time, it didn't need, it does now. At the time, it didn't need anyone at all, any specializations. But then it would just keep cranking out random specializations, and I didn't know that's how the mechanic was. That if if it doesn't call for anyone, then if there's someone in the university, it'll just spit out a random specialization. And the reason I have so many unemployed people, and particularly even types of specializations I don't even need anymore, yeah, like geologists because I've got no extractors, and botanists because I've got no farms, I kept getting them. And one of the guys that stops by, Stormy, he looked into the code of the how it handles the AI. He was looking at some mods, and the mod he found happened to be out of date, so he had to look at the code and saw how it handles the prioritizing with the AI, and noticed that if you set buildings that require non-specialized people at a higher priority than the university, yeah, then they'll fill that building up first, and if those buildings are full and there's still unspecialized people, then they'll start going to the university, and only then. Yeah, and that was new to me because if you look at the tooltip, it says that priority affects how often this building is serviced by drones, as well as its share of power and life support. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about the distribution uh, of colonists. I never thought that that was a thing, but I've changed it to that, and so far it's been working perfectly. Like these two TV stations, these are the only things that need non-specialized people in the whole dome. Everything else that needs people for in the service buildings, they're all automated. So these are the only two places that need non-specialized people, and so far, keeping an eye on the number of people that are born and turning the births being forbidden on and off, I've been able to more or less control pretty well, to be honest. Because I mean, look, we're only missing 3 people there, and there's still kids in the schools, so we've been able to keep that pretty well balanced, and people haven't been going to the university. So it's giving us a little bit of a breather. Okay, we still have unemployment, but they're going to get old and die, and then we won't have unemployment. And we just need to keep an eye on what is it? Keep control of the population through turning the births on and off as we're doing now, and then we should be okay. And if we have a bit of fluctuation where we need, the odd person here or there, we'll be all right. That I've got 2 universities here, for example. It needs how many? 4 engineers and 3 medics. Yeah, so I could basically turn those shifts off, turn that onto engineers, turn those shifts off, and turn that onto medics. And even if I do get the more non-specialized people than I need, then at least now I know it's going to be targeting that. Then I just need to come over and check every so often and keep an eye on that as well. That's another lesson learned for better overall population control. I've got things nicely balanced. It's the way I like it this way. Yeah, that metals consumption, the rare metals consumption, fluctuates up and down every now and then, depending on whether the one of the factories is full or not. And I turn the heavy workload off everywhere, so we're either staying at a certain level of rare metals or slightly increasing. I've managed to balance out the consumption. Well, it's heavy at the moment, so I've got more consumption than production, but I left it like that on purpose so that we can start to see some of these the waste rock piles disappear. But I've got it to a point where if I play around with which one of the amplifications is turned on or off on some of these, I can basically level it out where my production is exactly the same as my consumption. So I'm not going to have a waste rock problem anymore, even though both of these are now fully upgraded. And I like to say I have to